from the studios of TLC Talk Radio. You're in the mix with A Vibrant Mix with Tasha, Tamiko, and Fred. Don't forget to follow us on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I said Twitter because last week I was like, Twitter or something. Fred talked about me real bad. Our in-studio guest today is Knighten, who's wrote a wonderful book that I read literally in the doctor's office, which means they took too long. As you can see, our co-hosts are not here. Fred and Tamiko will be back next week with us. Don't forget to check us out every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. on Vibe In Radio. That's Vibe-In. And welcome, Tam, to the show.
Thank you.
So, here at A Vibrant Mix, we always want to do something that's uplifting, positive for the community. So many negative things out in the world that portray African Americans.
Yes.
And so, full disclosure, Tam and I are colleagues.
Yes.
And I realized she wrote a book just by floating around on Facebook. Sometimes I miss things. And so clearly she had made an announcement and I was all over the place. so wait a minute. I initially, I bought the book because I just wanted to support. Like, that's not an
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's not an easy task, right?
Right.
So tell us about your book, Burned But Not Broken.
This story is about my life. I gave you pretty much the chronicles of what happened from the age of 6 years old when the burn actually took place, or the fire actually took place. Mm-hmm. And I led that through my adulthood where I restored my confidence. So at the age of 6, my sister and I were playing with a cigarette lighter. She was 4, I was 6. And we were at a babysitter's house and we were playing with a cigarette lighter and we were passing it back and forth, flicking it, and it caught onto my shirt. And I had to run down the stairs to get help because my sister was there, and but she was in shock, so she couldn't go get help. I'm like, go get help. She couldn't go, and so I had to run down the stairs, and that's when the fire spread to my back. And but the babysitter's son saw me and he grabbed a blanket and put the fire out. So, and called my mom and the ambulance and firefighters, and they were there like in no time rescuing me. So
that's harrowing. Like, even as a 6-year-old, you understood, okay, I've got to get help.
Yes.
Unfortunately, my sister is not in a position to help me. Obviously you didn't understand why at the time, but you knew that you had to act. What led you to even write this story?
Before I wrote this book, I had written a children's book called Kayla B. That's Me, Dashing and Confident. And I wrote that book to inspire young kids at that age to build confidence and to have confidence no matter what your scars look like. And so after I wrote that book, that led me to chronicle my own story and let people know that even as adults, we live with scars and we live with different things that break us in life. And so I wanted to help restore confidence and help heal people and empower them so that they can live a better life than what they have, based off of whatever may have happened to them.
Right. You're talking about physical scars. You're talking about emotional scars of any type.
Yes, because I've endured all of that, especially being burned. You deal with post-traumatic stress disorder. And because it was for a long time, I couldn't even see a fire. I definitely wasn't cooking.
Oh, wow. You know what? Now, see, that's not even something you think about.
Yeah, I wasn't cooking. I didn't start cooking until I was 17. That was the first time that I started making meals and things like that. Yeah, because I was not touching anything fire related at that time. Mm-hmm.
So would the sound of fire engines trigger an episode?
But if a car was on fire, that would trigger. Or if I saw an apartment building on fire, that would trigger. Because I used to get paralyzed with fear and I couldn't move forward and I didn't know how to get through the next hour of my day because I was just paralyzed by that fear. I was just stunned. So
how did you eventually come out of that?
I got counseling.
Okay. Thank you.
I am an advocate for counseling, and I'm also a life coach. So I do provide counseling for people who need help get through their day. So, and I literally called a counselor, and they told me that that's what it was. They like, you're paralyzed by fear, so this is how we're going to help you get through it. And he gave me some steps, and when he did that, that helped me to go forward and continue on with my day. So
yeah,
so now it doesn't scare me anymore.
That's good, because that's something that we talk about on the show a lot. Getting counseling, and unfortunately in our community it's kind of frowned upon. It is, you know, don't tell my secrets. We don't talk about those things outside of the house. But then people are burdened with whatever is weighing them down, and they may feel like, well, I'm the only one, or they mistake holding it in for strength.
Right. And it's not. It's really tearing you up more on the inside just by holding it. And it also causes all kinds of health issues when you hold it in. So no, you have to let it go, and you have to be able to trust somebody, you know, and talk to somebody so that you can cope. So, and one of my counselors said to me, and I carry this with me and I tell it to everybody, just like these athletes need a coach to help them on the field and to help them get through, you need a coach to help you through life every single day. Something might happen that you don't know how to handle. So you have to be able to get through that and get past that, you know, so that you can move forward in your day and move forward with your life and live a healthier life.
And that's it. I think people don't realize that, you know, emotional trauma really can physically affect you. And so just like you wouldn't expect, you know, an athlete who broke his foot to just continue running.
Right.
Well, it's okay, I'm strong, I can do it.
Right. No, you got to heal.
Yeah, you got to heal. At the top of your book, it says, I am her. It's an acronym, healed, empowered, restored. Tell us about that.
It actually came to me in the middle of the night. So
write down your thoughts, guys.
Yes, write down your thoughts, because I was healing again. My burn had opened like right underneath my underarm.
Okay.
So
as an adult?
Go ahead.
No, I'm asking. It happened as an adult?
Yeah, as an adult. And so I had my friend come from Denver. She came and took care of me for like maybe 4 or 6 weeks or something like that as I healed. And during that time, that's when I Am Her came to me, and I said, oh, the name of my book is going to be I Am Her. Okay. But God said, no, that's just going to be that's your brand. I Am Her is your brand. And so I'm like, well, what does it mean? And so that's when he gave me Heal, Empower, Restore, because I am healed from this burn, even though I was going through that pain all over again. And Lord have mercy, I don't know how I was going to make it.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
It was just as bad as an adult as it was as a kid, you know, to have to relive that experience. But God spoke to me and said that, no, you are healed, and you are going to go out here and you're going to heal, empower, and restore people, because they need their confidence restored. They need to understand that that you can heal from whatever it is that you're going through. You can do this. And so that's what I do. So excellent. That's why it's here.
You're a life coach. Your brand is I Am Her. Tell us, how did you get into life coaching?
Because I have been talking to people all my life.
Of course you are. You're a media professional.
Right? So, but a lot of people always come to me with their problems. And so when life coaching became big on the scene, like with the Iyanla Vanzant, you know, I knew I wanted to be like her, because I knew I was already like her, just doing it on a smaller scale. And so I decided to just go ahead and study it. And I realized that this the things that the techniques that they teach you, I was already doing it, you know, but it helps you to, you know, just help people on a greater level. So I wanted to do that. So that's why I started it. And when I started seeing the results of people's confidence changing and transforming, and when I could see them successfully starting their businesses because of the coaching that I've provided for them, I was like, yes, this is it.
Now, I bet that's a wonderful feeling.
It is, and it's very fulfilling. So, I've always loved helping people. It's always been my motto to help people. So I just added that to the repertoire.
Okay, excellent. So you're a life coach, you advocate counseling. When you began to write your book, was it hard for you to take a step back and revisit?
I cried through the entire process.
Okay.
Literally every page. And the book is not that long. So imagine writing this short book that you read in your doctor's office, and I cried every single page, even through the acknowledgments. I cried. And it took me like maybe a year or so to write the book, because I had to still heal. I had to apologize. I had to talk to my mother. I had to talk to my sister, just to heal as a family, because there were some things that we hadn't even discussed that I had wanted to write, and then I had my mom tell her side of the story. So you read her part in there, because I'm like, Mom, I think that parents should know how to help their child, or just feel what you felt when you got that phone call, and then during the process, and because she was a working mom, and she worked 3 to 11. That's why we were at the babysitter's house. We stayed there. And so when she got that call, and when I saw her the day that the fire happened, I was like, wow, Mom, you got here like really quick. I'm in the midst of pain, but I was just like so happy and so shocked to see her arrive so fast. So I wanted her to tell her part of the story, because I think that that's important to hear as a parent, from her point of view, what happened, as well as from my point of view. So yeah, that was a hard book to write.
Yeah, it sounds like and I could feel every moment, particularly when your mother's piece happened. What she was saying, and parents will move people, mountains, lions, whatever, to get to their kids.
Yes.
And so I could envision, her racing through the streets.
Yes.
Not caring what she had to do to get to her child, particularly when you don't understand the magnitude of what's happening. You just get a phone call, and you're not sure what you're going to walk into.
Exactly. And when I looked up and saw her there, I'm like, wow, you like almost beat the firemen in the ambulance.
That happened to me when I was in a simple car accident, but my mother had been called well after the fire department, and they arrived at the same time.
Yeah. I'm like, wow.
And she wasn't even driving.
Did you take the day off?
Right. You just got on your work clothes.
Well, you really at work today.
Right, exactly. You were down the street.
But that's the best feeling, though, when your mom shows up, right?
Absolutely. Mommies are the best. Now, did your friends and family know this story? Was this a shock to them? How did they respond?
A lot of them don't know the story. They didn't know. They didn't. I guess when you think that you told everybody everything, and then you find out, and they're like, no, I never knew that.
Right.
My best friend of over 20 years was like, no, I didn't know the whole story. I'm like, are you serious?
Wow.
Like, you seriously didn't ask me? Like, we didn't have this conversation. But what I realized is that a lot of people had been afraid to ask me, because they thought that it would trigger something in me. But really, I've never had a problem talking about it. I've always been very comfortable in my own skin, to discuss it, the events that took place, because I'm not ashamed of what happened. Right. I was more ashamed of the burn itself, but then after a while, when I started putting on weight, I became more ashamed of that, shoot, I'm putting on weight. The burns I got to live with, but how I can get rid of this excess these extra pounds.
Was the weight gain a result of the emotional piece from the...
It is. Okay. Yeah, it is. When you go through like a depression and something happens, and so you just overeating and things like that. So I was putting on weight, and then it was like after my surgery, after I had just lost 20 pounds and was 3 pounds away from my goal weight, then I had surgery and then put the weight back on. So I wasn't happy about that.
So let's shift a little little bit. Let's talk about you. So you recently, and we met because Tam was actually my student.
Yeah.
Yay! At the Illinois Media School, and you recently started on a venture very similar to me.
Yes.
Leaving something that was kind of lucrative
Yes.
to follow your passion. Tell us about that.
So, so I've been in an administrative professional for over 20 years, literally in high school. They trained me and I was working for the teachers. Okay. So I've been doing it
We
for
love
a very
like
long time. Right?
Yes, God. This is amazing.
I didn't even realize
Yes.
that I'm in the exact same situation.
Yes, you are just on a different scale.
side.
But
and
I'm
on a
reverting
different
back to
scale.
when I was a teacher
But
and I needed
yes.
help. Can you grade this?
Yes, and I did. I helped all the teachers, which in turn turned out to be a blessing for me for prom, because they paid for everything for prom and everything, so I didn't have to do anything but just show up.
Nice.
The fashion design teacher made my dress and everything.
Oh, wow.
Like, they were spectacular to me as a result. But anyway, I had been an administrative professional since high school, so and I knew that my future consisted after I started writing books, that I knew I wanted to make movies.
Okay.
And so I wanted to go back to school so that I can learn how to write, direct, and produce my own movies, and because I can't wait for Hollywood and then they can't wait for me either, because, they want these strict timelines, and some pieces take time to write. Like I said, it took me a long time to write this book, so let alone a script, you know.
If you had the pressure of a producer in your ear,
oh my goodness,
that might have broken you down.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah, send me right back to counseling, or just
right. Like, won't need that.
All kind of therapy. Okay, so that's what took me back to school.
Okay.
And when I graduated, which was the best feeling in the world, because I had finally wanted to graduate from college, but I just didn't know what. I kept changing my major like 5 times, thought I wanted to do social work and computer this and, that in psychology. I'd majored in everything, that I thought, but all of those were just pieces of my life that led me to media. So I finally graduated from media, and I loved every minute of it. It was hard work, and I worked full time and went to school full time, but the reward of graduating and then starting my own production company, just was, I had to let go of the last 20 years, because I already knew that I was retiring at a certain age. I had said, like, no, I'm retiring at a certain age. That's it, And so I went a couple of years past that, so I was mad at myself, like, you were supposed to retire like 2 years ago. So from that profession. And so when I finally did, that's why I took the leap, of faith, like, no, I can do this. So
you
but
your own life coach, and y'all should have seen how she
Yes.
danced up to get her diploma at
I did
graduation.
I can't even tell
funny.
you how excited I was. Like that
we could
moment.
see it. It was exuded all in your body language and your face. It was great. So tell us about your production company.
So I Dream Up Media is the name of my production company, and we provide videography, voiceover, and video editing. We do commercials and special projects. So
I'm about to hire her to edit this show. I can do it, but I'm just
I know, right?
tired.
I know.
Tired Tam. Fred, we need more money in the budget.
I know, right? Definitely.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we've been working on projects with churches and for different non-for-profit organizations. So yeah. So it's been going good. And then I turned around and released my book. So and then the hurricane happened, Hurricane Maria, with my parents. So I had to put life on hold to take care of them, because that was a very emotional time for me, because that's my mom, and I didn't want anything to happen to her, and so I had to rescue them. That's how I feel, like I was rescuing them, but she's rescued me all my life, so I wanted to be there for them, and so I had to pour a lot of my finances into assisting them and bringing them here, and having them stay with us, so that so that they can have power, like the basic needs, that it's just Puerto Rico was wiped out a lot, so I didn't want them to have to suffer, as much,
Yeah.
So.
Are you all from Puerto Rico?
No.
Okay.
My mother, she remarried her second husband.
Okay.
No. She remarried her first husband. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And he
Nice.
lived down there. And when we caught up with him, like, we hadn't seen him in 13 years. And so when we all rekindled, took a trip down there and for 7 days. And then on day number 4, they rekindled. And she said she was moving down there.
Nice.
And so she came back here, quit both her jobs, and she was gone in 3 days.
Oh. What you won't do for love, though.
I know. And then now they married, 14 years? This will be their 15th year now.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
That's very, very nice. So what's next for Tam the author?
Oh, Tam the author. Well, I want to do a book tour, so because I definitely want to go back and visit the hospitals and encourage and uplift people who are sick or who just want to give up. And no, I want to heal, empower, and restore them too, and let them know that there is life on the other side, that you can still follow your dreams, and you don't stop living just because you're ill or because something has happened to you. And so I'm working on doing a book tour so that I can get out here and spread the message.
Excellent. So you're a life coach. Do you coach yourself? Like, what makes you want to get out of the bed in the morning?
No, I don't coach myself. I don't.
Like, no,
I
Jesus.
don't. I'm the worst coach to myself.
It's like the mechanic whose car is down, the stylist who hasn't done her hair.
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah. No, I get on the phone, and my counselor is on speed dial, like for real.
Mm-hmm.
And she sends me pictures of her dog, because she know I love her little dog, and she'll be like, "It's okay, Max loves you." And ironically, Max is my dad's name too, so
cute.
her little dog is Max, and my dad, and my little brother is Max too. So I have a lot of Maxes that love me. Okay.
That's a blessing.
It is. Yeah, no, I have to, but I don't do it fast enough. That's my problem, is that I'll be holding it in, but I have a best friend who stays on top of me, like, no, what's going on? What happened? Talk to me, So I get it out, within the week.
That's good. So you hold it, you don't necessarily hold it forever, but you hold it longer than you should.
Yeah, exactly.
You hold it onto that hot
yeah,
plate.
because sometimes I just don't feel like talking about it, and then sometimes I'm just trying to sort it out, and then I learn, like, well, so she's gonna call and bug you every day because you're gonna get that phone call, so you might as well just talk it out. So
yeah. And sometimes you know what I'm thinking as you're talking, I'm thinking, like, this episode comes back to my mind when I was little. My mother used to smoke, and something, I don't know what we were doing, and she was trying to get me I was scared of something, and inadvertently I grabbed her cigarette. But
wow.
I'm screaming, it's lit. I'm screaming that I don't want her to hurt me, not realizing that I'm hurting myself.
That you're hurting yourself.
And she's trying to get me to let go.
Wow.
What a metaphor, right?
Yes.
And so finally, when I opened it, there's this wound that wouldn't have been as bad had I just let go.
Had you just let go, that's right. Exactly. Awesome metaphor and great analogy.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us about that somebody special that you dedicated a portion of the book to.
Well,
you thought you were getting away without answering? Nope.
Let's see. I dedicated this book to a lot of special people. Now, which one in particular would you like for me to
You know
explain?
darn well who it is I'm talking about, because you said they came to live with us. Who is us? I was listening. I too am a media professional.
Oh, you heard that?
No, yeah, I was listening.
No, my sweetheart, Eddie Parker, Naptown Eddie. He and I met in class.
This is
all the wonderful things that Illinois Media School has brought for me. I cannot even complain. That school has been a blessing in more ways than one.
Yes. I tell you guys story a lot.
Oh, do you?
Yes. I'm like, oh my God, this couple is so cute. And shout out to Julia, who's no longer with the company, but she and I used to go, oh,
I know. Yeah, she did.
So cute. Okay, so I'll let you tell your story.
Oh my goodness. So we used to actually, when we first got in class, we sat next to each other unbeknownst, like anything was going to evolve. And when he got up to speak, I heard that little country twang because he's from Indianapolis, Naptown
Eddie.
Naptown Eddie, yes. And So when we started working together, because I remember he leaned back in his chair and was like, "You want to be my partner?" And I'm like, "Okay." So then I realized
that too was
a
metaphor.
You just right. I didn't know.
We never know. We always go, wait a minute.
No.
Hey.
And so we would go in the studio and we would make magic together. Literally, all of our projects would be A projects because we work hard. And then I just saw how ambitious he was, and I was just as motivated, to work just as hard and things like that, because I didn't even come there for radio, but I fell in love with radio, once I started the program. And so one thing led to another, and we started dating, and here we are.
I love it. I like to see the power
we just
couple.
Celebrated our 1-year anniversary in December.
Oh,
so
very
yeah.
sweet. I love it. Yeah, we tell your story. You're right. A lot of things happen, and I think the message in your story is empowerment, but also being open.
Yes.
You never know what the next piece is going to bring to you.
That's so true. And I feel like, and it was my counselor who told me to go to media school. I'll tell you. So this is why counseling is important. You got to listen.
I love it.
She said, because I was torn between going for media and going back for psychology, because I only had like a year and a half left to get my bachelor's degree. And she was like, well, it sounds like you are leaning more towards media, and then since it's a short program, you will be more committed to it. So she was like, I think you should go for that. And she was so right. I'm like, yeah, I could do 9 months. And then when I get there, I got a whole boyfriend out of the deal. I got a diploma out the deal.
Right.
I got a job out the deal. I'm a producer, so I got my own company out of it. I mean, literally, it has been a spectacular year. So,
and that's wonderful. And clearly you have a passion for both, because I can hear the passion for psychology as well. And the thing is, you said you only had a year. When you are ready, you can always go back.
Right.
And so that's the positive. You're
exactly.
able, you do one thing to enable yourself to do the next thing.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like now that I've graduated, that I can now go back and finish, but I don't even think I would go back for psychology. I would go back for film just to, really produce these movies and be the next, Tyler Perry, the female version of Tyler Perry.
Right. What kind of movies do you see yourself producing? Are you talking about all kinds, or inspirational, or all of that?
Well, inspirational and comedy. So I would do those two, because I love to laugh. I am very humorous. Like, that is my thing. And to me, that has what's healed me, is humor and music. Those are the two things that has gotten me through so much, because when you listen to the words of certain songs, even being in your office the other day, you don't know that, girl. I was like, oh my God, that's my song. That's my song,
I'm glad I was able to help.
Wait, and then you switched it from gospel to New Edition to R&B, and I'm like, hey, that's my song,
right?
So you like changed my whole spirit and didn't even know it,
That's a blessing. Again, being open.
Yeah,
because I didn't even realize.
Open. You're right. I didn't tell you, but yeah, I was going through something, and I'm like, hey, I needed all of this, and every song in every order that it was in, I needed that. So, but you have to be open, because I just believe in, and I learned this a very long time ago, that if you keep your hands open, the blessings will keep flowing through them. So I do, and that's why I give a lot, and that's why I receive a lot, because I just keep my hands open for those blessings, to keep receiving them and to keep giving them. So
that's exactly right. How can people find you on social media?
They can find me at Tamara Knighten, TamaraKnighten, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and my website is tamaraknighten.com.
Excellent. So it's been a pleasure to have you here in studio.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, you're here. We're together all the time at work. But it's been amazing to just hear your story. It's one thing to read it; we want to hear it too. Where can people find the book?
They can find it on TamaraKnighten.com and on Amazon.com.
Actually, my favorite store ever. Don't tell Walmart. I love them too. Sometimes I don't want to go outside.
I know. Amazon, and I'm a Prime member, so yes.
We are all Prime members.
Yes.
Great. Thanks so much. You've been in the mix with the Vibrant Mix with Tasha Tamiko and Fred. Don't forget to catch us on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And don't forget to check us out on the Vibe N radio station, vibe-n.com. And check out past shows on our website, vibrantmix.com. We will catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.